Neil Monroe stars as Quentin Nickles in Episode 1, Murder on the CPR, with Sarah Orenstein and Peter Millard.
Inspector Nickles, over here.
Good morning. Dr. Abigail Lapierre, I presume.
Welcome to Montreal, Inspector.
However, did you recognize me in this crowd?
It was Dr. Gales. He told me to look for a big, handsome man in a dark tartan cape whose stockings didn't match.
Oh, just look at that. By thunder, you're right. You make an excellent detective.
Perhaps I could study under you.
It's an intriguing thought.
Have you much luggage, Inspector?
Just these 2 valises. My trunks are being sent directly to Toronto.
I've reserved a carriage to take us directly to the CPR station.
All aboard!
Conductor, is this our car?
I don't think so. Let's see. Oh, sorry, madam. This car is reserved. Porter, take these passengers to car 9, compartments E and F.
Yeah, private car, he said. So who's this distinguished traveller?
Politicians. Or government toadies, likely.
What? Not an anarchist doctor, surely?
Laurier has just been elected as our Prime Minister. He's our first Liberal Prime Minister in 18 years. We have high hopes for him.
Politicians are people elected in hope by the masses who invariably end up representing the interests of the elite.
Heavens! Not an anarchist detective.
No, Abby, merely a realist. Bugger. How long have you practiced medicine in Toronto?
2 years. I completed my internship at Hotel Dieu Hospital in Quebec City. Then came to Toronto to be closer to family. My sister and niece.
That's your sister who runs the boarding house?
Where you will be staying. In his letter, our friend, Dr. Gale, said you had a brilliant career at Scotland Yard. Before you resigned. Why ever did you leave one of the most famous police forces in the world, Inspector? 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 Inspector?
Inspector! Good God, man, are you with us?
Beg pardon, Sir Leonard, I was lost in thought.
I was saying, this hunt for Dr. Alexander Kuznetsov must end. We have spent more than £200 sterling sending you crashing about Europe, and you haven't turned up hide nor hair of this scoundrel.
Superintendent Cockerill, I have a family duty.
I know this is personal, Nichols. I regret and deplore your sister's death. But even if we apprehend him, the best we'll get is a conviction for fraud.
That blackguard murdered her as sure as though he pushed her off Lambeth Bridge himself.
Be that as it may, we must move on. I must also tell you that your latest theory about Ripper Fiend is causing me extreme pain. Albert, Duke of Clarence, is Jack the Ripper, the son of a future King of England. Are you mad? Or are you merely trying to end my career?
I must follow my theories, sir. He fits the descriptions and is known to be lacking in his mental capacity.
Stop this slander, not another word. The whole idea is outlandish. The Home Secretary will have my head.
Look, politics aside,
Politics, Inspector Nichols. I have supported you. I have even protected you from others who wanted you demoted or discharged. But now you've gone too far. You will report to Chief Inspector Forbes for reassignment tomorrow morning and keep your theories to yourself. Do I make myself clear?
Abundantly. I have some leave due me. I'll take it now, I think.
I'll see you in hell first. Report as ordered.
I regret your response, sir.
Nichols, where are you going? Inspector! Come back here! Inspector!
Inspector? Inspector?
What? Oh, sorry. I was preoccupied. What was it you asked?
Why you left Scotland Yard?
I'll call it a difference of opinion. When this opportunity with the Ontario Constabulary arose, I was taken with the adventure of the New World, Canadian frontier.
Oh, the people of Toronto are going to be charmed by that view of their society. But I should say, Toronto is far from a frontier, Inspector. Of course, it's not London.
Howdy there.
Or Montreal.
May I join y'all for dinner? The other tables are full.
Certainly, sir. That's a unique Canadian accent.
Canadian? I'm from Texas, sir. Greatest state in the Union. My name's Daniel Wellington, poet, novelist, reporter. You may have heard of me.
Quentin Nickles, I apologize, sir, but no, I don't believe I've heard of you.
A waiter, rye whiskey. And, who's the pretty lady?
May I present Dr. Abigail Lapierre?
A real doctor?
No, I only play at it, sir.
Oh, no offense, ma'am. We women folk just aren't the unassuming little critters they was.
We never were, Mr. Wellington.
Visiting Canada, Mr. Wellington?
Just passing through. I'm on my way west to write about the Northwest Mounted Police. I've heard some pretty exciting stuff about their exploits. And what line of work are you in, sir?
Actually, he's Inspector Quentin Nickles.
Thank you, Abby. For future reference, I'd prefer to retain some shreds of privacy.
I'm sorry, Inspector. I'm afraid I've taken the liberty of mentioning who you are to a few others. I didn't know it was a secret.
Excuse me. Are you Inspector Nickles?
Ask anyone, conductor.
I wonder if you'd come with me, sir. I'm afraid we've had an incident.
Go back! The coat tender is no place for you.
He may be alive!
You won't be if you slip. Damn cold. Conductor, don't touch him.
No pulse! He's gone!
Oh, that size in my head, I'd be gone too.
He has a revolver in his right hand!
But there's a piece of paper in his lap.
Wellington, get out of my way! Now, give me a minute with the body. The rest of you, back to the car platform before someone falls and gets killed! Bring your lantern closer so I can read this. Thank you. That's better. I can't go on with this. Forgive me, and it's signed Guy.
Suicide.
As it appears so.
The fireman thinks he heard a shot, but by the time he got back there, the man was dead.
Conductor, I don't have any official status here, but I can look into this further.
Well, if he killed himself, there's really nothing to look into, Inspector.
I said it appears to be suicide. However, I'll reserve final judgment until I've looked about, if you don't mind.
I think you've been involved in too many mysteries. Plainly, the poor gentleman chose to end his life.
Yes. Or someone ended it for him.
You there, Inspector, whatever your name is.
Nickles. What can I do for you, sir?
My name is Davis Bogart, president of Ontario Lumber. I couldn't help notice the commotion and thought I would share some information.
And what would that be, Mr. Bogart?
Well, the man who was just carried through here?
Yes.
Well, 20 minutes ago, I stepped out on the platform nearest the coal tender for a cigar. He brushed by me, climbed onto the coal tender, and made his way forward. Then I thought I heard a shot.
Was he alone?
Quite alone. As a good citizen, it's my
Thank
duty...
you, sir. If I may, what is your business on this train, Mr. Bogart?
I'm traveling with Premier Mowat's party.
The provincial premier is on this train.
Why, yes, sir. You'd have to be a pretty poor detective not to know that.
Damned impertinence of the man.
Oh, I'm sure he didn't mean it that way. Do we know who our victim is?
Yes, his name was Guy Davigno. He was in the employ of the Ontario government, assistant to the premier.
Really? Ah, here's the bullet.
Well, nice work, Doctor. Obviously murder.
Murder? See here, this may be a battlefield autopsy, but I assure you, he died from that self-inflicted bullet wound. And he even left a suicide note. What more do you want?
Yes, well, a few less arguments would be nice. Let me see the bullet. That's interesting. And now the wound again. Hold the lantern closer, please. Yes, see? The absence of powder burns near the wound. Also, his revolver was a Colt .45. This bullet you removed is much smaller. Most likely came from one of those vest pocket guns. Derringer, probably. So, someone shot him. Tried to make it look like suicide.
You policemen see murder everywhere.
Oh, really? Well, if it wasn't murder, where's the revolver that fired this bullet?
Maybe he dropped it.
Oh, I see. So after blowing out his brains, he dropped one revolver and picked up another. Stick to medicine, Doctor.
Don't patronize me, Inspector.
It's common sense. And papers from his baggage show that he writes left-handed, yet the revolver was in his right. Another discrepancy. Now, there is something puzzling, though.
What's that?
The handwriting on his documents also prove that he did write the note.
Premier will see you now, Inspector.
Thank you.
Inspector Nickles, how do you do? I'm Oliver Mowat.
How do you do, sir?
Let me say that I am shocked and saddened over the news.
It's a terrible tragedy, sir. Do you know of any reason for Mr. Davignon to have killed himself?
I know he had some money problems, but nothing that called for such drastic action.
Well, tell me, sir, if I may be so bold, what was the purpose of your visit to Montreal?
I suspect you know how to hold your tongue, Inspector.
Goes with the job, sir.
Very well. I met with Prime Minister Laurier to find out where he stood on recent Liberal proposals that we pursue a commercial union with the United States. We have much manufacturing in Ontario, and such a union would not be good for us.
Then why pursue such a course?
They are a federal government, and unfortunately, some believe we must have a commercial union with the United States to secure an economic future for Canada. You see, between 1871 and 1881, almost 1 million people left the Dominion for the United States, mostly for economic reasons.
Perhaps I should have bought a ticket to New York.
Don't you believe it? Though Canada is a nation based on intellectual integrity, fairness and compromise, we are divided on many issues. For example, we have a powerful lobby of staple producers who want this deal to give them access to American markets. I personally believe such a union would be the first nail in our Dominion's coffin.
Would your Prime Minister share this view?
Well, liberals are, liberals. I assure you no conservative Prime Minister would ever enter into such a free trading agreement with the United States. But Mr. Laurier keeps his options open. Of course, he has high hopes for Canada and feels we are bound for greatness.
So you're relieved?
Yes. And despite the lobbying, I intend to put forward a motion to oppose any such union in our legislature. Of course, certain business groups know my intentions and are not happy with me.
Yes, I see. Is this, your personal rail car, sir?
Just for this journey, Inspector.
And does your sleeping compartment have a lock on it?
Yes, it's kept locked while I'm sleeping. Why?
Just routine, sir. Did your assistant, the victim, have a key to this car?
No. The only ones with the key to this car are the conductor and myself. For heaven's sakes, why?
Well, as I say, just routine questions, sir. Good night.
What do you expect to find in Mr. Davignon's compartment?
I'll know when I find it. Did you notice the door?
What about it?
Someone's pried the lock just enough to get in and search the place.
Really? What were they looking for?
Same thing I am.
And that is?
I don't know. Now, wait. What's in this leather valise? Well, look at this.
Dollars. But there must be thousands here.
You know, for a man with money troubles, he'd certainly like to keep a full purse. And if I found it in a few minutes, whoever searched this cabin must also have found it. So this isn't it.
Isn't what?
What I'm searching for.
Wait, where are you going?
I'm going to get my shaving kit.
Shaving kit? Inspector! Inspector!
Inspector?
Mr. Wellington.
This isn't your compartment, is it?
No, it's the victim's.
So you've identified him.
I'm sorry, Wellington, but I must keep mum for the time being.
You English sure are stuffy. Say, I'd like to propose a business proposition.
This is hardly the time, sir.
No, hear me out. Dr. LaPierre says you have a reputation as an excellent detective in England.
Well, thank you again, Abby.
She says that you will also be a private detective taking on private cases in Canada. So my idea is to accompany you on your cases and write them up for my editor in New York. I'll make you famous, help you build your business. This is my specialty. I've been writing about people like Buffalo Bill, Wyatt Earp, Billy the Kid.
My work has more to do with adults, I'm afraid.
You're joshing me, aren't you? Never mind. What do you say?
Aside from it being the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard and a load of complete rubbish, I'm not interested.
Why not?
Because detective work, sir, is a fine and private matter requiring at times the utmost discretion and very often subterfuge and misdirection to crack a case. A public exposure of my techniques is hardly desirable. Now, have you seen Dr. Lapierre?
She was having the conductor let her into the baggage car back there. I can write this without giving away
You'll
any
excuse
of
me,
your
Mr. Wellington,
techniques.
I'm very busy.
I can see it's going to be a real pleasure working with you.
Abby! Abby, where are you?
I'm over here. No, I'm not telling. Watch out. He's got a gun.
I figured that out. Now stay down. There he is. He's gone. Did you get a look at him?
You're armed. All this time you've been carrying a gun? He wore a mask. I thought he would kill me. He kept yelling, "Give them to me, give them to me." I don't know what he wanted.
Abby, you know we are looking for a killer. It was thoughtless to come back here alone.
Well, thank you for your concern.
Your safety is my concern.
You're concerned about your case.
Yes, I am, and I don't like amateurs complicating things.
Perhaps it would have been better if he killed me and I'd be out of your way.
Oh, my God. Why do women always take everything so personal?
It's called survival. Ooh, we're stopping.
That swine's trying to get away. Come on!
Please reconsider, Inspector.
Not now, Wellington. Conductor, is there a problem?
No, Inspector. We only have a single track along here, so we switched to a siding to let the eastbound pass. We'll be on our way within an hour.
What a way to run a railroad. Has anyone left the train, Conductor?
No, not as far as I know. There's nothing for miles around except wolves and bear.
You there, Inspector. I'm sure I saw someone jump from the last car just moments ago and run towards the bushes. You must be after him.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bogard. I'll check it out. Now, please excuse us. Now, Conductor, keep this to yourself. The victim, Premier Murt's assistant, was murdered, and there is someone on this train, if he hasn't left it, who just tried to murder Dr. Lapierre and myself.
This is great.
On my train?
What a story.
Who is it?
I don't know. Do you have any arms aboard?
We have a rifle.
I want a crewman armed with it to stand guard outside Dr. Lapierre's stateroom tonight.
Crewman? There's only me and a brakeman.
Well, then get one of the dining car attendants.
Outside my compartment. What about everyone else?
He was after you, Abby. He thinks you, or perhaps I, have something he wants. Now, back to your compartment.
I will not be treated as a child.
I'm not treating you as a child. Now, go to your room.
Maybe in England, Inspector, but this is the Dominion of Canada, and I have rights.
I shouldn't want you hurt, Abby. Doctors are always in short supply.
Your concern is touching. I'll go, but under protest.
Thank you.
Stuffed shirt.
Beg your pardon?
Nothing, Inspector. We're all jumping at your orders like Tiny Tin soldiers.
Thank you. Wellington, come with me. No. We're going to walk this train from one end to the other and see if we can flush anyone out. Do you have a weapon?
I'm a writer, Inspector, not a fighter.
All right, I guess if there's any gunplay, I can use you as a shield. Come on.
Shield? Inspector. Wait, Inspector! So, this is the dead man's gear. What are you looking for?
I don't know. But someone was here again since I last searched it.
How do you know?
Because I dusted some talc powder from my shaving kit around this case, and it's been moved.
Oh. Do you have a theory of what happened, Inspector?
Only that Davignon went up onto that coal car for a clandestine meeting that went awry, or he was chased up there by his killer, or killers.
But you just said the victim wrote a suicide note.
No, he wrote a note. But was it a suicide note? It said, "I can't go on with this. Forgive me." In the light of new circumstances, it could apply to many things. Wait a minute. What's this inside the lamp?
The keys to his stateroom?
Yes, but there are two. And neither fits this stateroom. Wellington, stay here.
Where are you going?
To find the locks that these keys fit. Abby, I need your help.
Am I to be freed from my imprisonment?
I don't have time for this.
What do you need? Your stockings washed?
Oh, hell hath no fury. Look, I am being watched, and it's important that the watchers not realize I'm onto their game. You'll be safe in public, so I want you to walk through the next 2 passenger cars where you will encounter a locked 3rd car.
That's the Premier's car.
Yes. Try to unlock his car with one of these 2 keys. If either fits, relock it and return.
I'm on the case, Inspector.
Dear God, no heroics. Just do as I say and get back here.
This one fits the Premier's car.
The other fits his sleeping compartment, no doubt. I must return these to the victim's stateroom and make them easy to find.
What is going on?
An assassination attempt on Premier Oliver Mowat.
Why place the keys back, Inspector?
To catch the assassin in the act.
But you'll endanger the Premier.
Of course not, since we're stopped on assure his safety by removing him from the train.
We're moving again.
Damn and drat! Abby, prepare for a guest. Wellington, out of my way!
I'm coming.
Hang on to me, Mr. Premier! Don't look over the side!
Oh, God, man, I should have taken my chances with the assassin.
So 1 more car to go. You okay, Wellington?
Oh, of course! I love running across the top of speeding passenger trains at night. Oh, my, what of you? They should put seats up here. Can we go down now before we're all killed?
1 more car. Sorry, Mr. Premier, but it's critical he thinks you're in your compartment sleeping.
I wish I was!
Come on, you blackguard. Where are you?
All right, Mowat. Let's see you introduce this motion in the house.
Hold it, Mr. Bogard. Drop your gun.
What? Busy party, get out of my way!
Stop! You can't climb out there. The jig is up. We're on a trestle, man. Get away!
It's totally beyond belief.
Well, after we realized Davignon hadn't committed suicide and his stateroom was repeatedly searched, I knew we'd drawn the wrong conclusion from the note. When the keys I found fit your private car and they were stolen after I replaced them, it was obvious someone wanted access to you. Davignon was selling the keys to the assassin, but then had an attack of conscience and couldn't go on with it. This led to a disagreement and his death.
Guy was my friend, and Davis Bogard purported to support my views and offer advice.
Sometimes business allies itself with the government merely to keep watch on its workings and ensure that business interests are represented. They saw you, sir, as the betrayer.
What they can't see is that slowly and surely, economically, culturally, and then politically, we'd surrender our sovereignty. Business would take on enormous powers and dictate our direction to Parliament. Sorry, Inspector. What's next?
I'll alert the police to search for Bogard's body.
Look, I've just spoken to the conductor. Since Bogard met his demise, and I know his family, I'd rather keep this matter quiet. It was just a tragic accident.
Yes, but there are others involved, sir. There must be.
Perhaps. But after today, it won't matter.
But your assistant?
Nor is there any need to drag his name through the mud. A tragic suicide brought on by pressures of work. We'll do what we can for his family as well.
Oh, you're an extraordinary man, sir. But I really
I like
think...
your discretion, Inspector.
All right, sir. You have it.
Thank you. Sincerely.
Goodbye, Mr. Premier.
We'll meet again. I feel certain.
I'll contact you later, Inspector, at your new abode.
My God, Wellington. Do you never give up?
Oh, I'll change the names, the place, the circumstances, and the actions. It'll still be a true story, of course.
Yes, well, just keep my name out of it. Now, Abby, I guess it's off to meet your sister. See my new digs.
And are we to be friends again?
How could you doubt it?
Excuse me, sir. Inspector Nickles?
Yes?
Sir, Chief Constable Lemon has sent me to meet you. He needs your help right away. I'm afraid some ladies have just found a dead body under rather mysterious circumstances.
Yes, all right, Constable. Abby, I must go.
Oh, of course. So I'll just carry your bags home, unpack, and do your laundry?
Yes, well, heavy starch in the
Inspector,
collars,
Chief
please.
Constable does not like to be kept waiting. The dead body...
Start your drawers.
Yes, all right, forget it. Forget the starch.
Sir, the dead body...
Yes, all right, but shall I let you in on a little secret, Constable?
You have the address?
Dead bodies, and most bodies are dead, are usually not in a hurry for anything.
The devil with
They're
you!
also notoriously uncooperative, have given up on appointments, won't answer questions, and when dining, don't eat very much at dinner.